Hello everyone, my name is Vinay Modi and I've been preparing young minds for last 2 decades, especially with respect to the last bastion of any selection process with respect to management colleges in India. Yes, I'm talking about personality assessment stage, something that I'm really passionate about, and I've trained almost like 30,000 young minds and interviewed more than that. And I want to really bring my experience to you people. CAT exam just got over yesterday. And I'm very sure students have started gearing up for the next one. But don't forget, you've got to visualize yourself getting a final call and then preparing for the last stage called group discussion, personal interview, and writing assessment test. Unless you visualize that, it's very difficult to convert these calls. And time flies. You've got to start preparing for that stage now if you're fancying your chances for any forthcoming exam. Well, I always believe that preparation for this process is more important than being part of it eventually, because that's manifestation. But the process or the journey is more important. And if you don't start preparing for it, it might be too late. My experience tells me that students who prepare systematically, professionally for this stage, they end up clearing it. And students who are taken aback by the fact that they've received a call find it too difficult, and at times it's too late for them to prepare. So, how do you start preparing for this milestone? Maybe 30 days, 40 days, 50 days down the line, you will have that stage. Well, let me tell you straight away, the entire interview process or any process will be a culmination or will reflect your life journey. Yes, because throughout your life, there are so many encounters, experiences, and moments which you've nurtured and cherished, and there are certain moments that you don't want to remember. But then interview is reflection of those moments, and how do you really channelize those is what determines your success or failure. So how do you start preparing for the last bastion? First and foremost thing, make sure that you make a list of all top contemporary issues globally as well as nationally. Make a list of all important issues which are right now prevailing in the air, which are in the air globally. 10, 15, 20 top issues. For example, Donald Trump and his passion or his mania for tariff reduction. He is somebody who's advocating huge tariffs across the board against countries which have started doing very well. So we've got to have a very clear idea about why has he done it, how is it going to create an impact to world economy, to Indian economy, and generally at large. Make sure you start preparing that. Second, all wars which have unfolded or which have actually taken place in last 2 years, very critically evaluate their genesis to the culmination. Every aspect that has happened or that has taken place, you need to know. And almost all countries which are right now entangled in war, the impact diplomatic relations and especially bring India into conversation, because this is going to be very important. Third, artificial intelligence. How AI is going to actually unfold future for humanity. What are the challenges ahead? What are the problems that countries will have, and how some countries are going to actually have a huge leap because of that. Fourth, talk about cryptocurrency, read more about blockchain, read more about the evolution of currency and crises which are going to be there. Fifth, global economy. How global economy is unfolding, how inflationary tendencies and practices are ruining the biggest economies. I'm talking about America, and how India is going to be a party to that. So it's important for you to take note of various dimensions of economy, stock market, central banks, interest rates, how economies are actually going to mire into big problem, and then of course WTO and how multilateral trade is actually giving way to unilateral trade again, how ideologies are actually reverting back to the original one, and how countries like America, which advocated globalization like anything, are now going back on their own ideology. So these are few global issues. I mean, there are more. Climate change could be one. And then talk about or read about national issues which are very pertinent to India. Read about SIR, read about the electoral process, the entire reform that awaits India. Read about the democratic fabric of India and how the democratic fabric gets challenged in the wake of what is happening in India. Read about all the violence related issues, clashes, be it Mizoram or Naxalite or other part of the country. Read more about how Indian economy is right now going through a major change, how we can be a very powerful force to reckon with in future, how our purchasing power parity or how our strength, the middle class, is actually evolving powerfully, and the challenges that we have, be it national education policy, vocationalization, in terms of manufacturing sector bottlenecks. Read more about these role of media, social media, mental health, and the challenges. Make sure that you read the latest content, and you start evolving accordingly. This is going to really make you so confident. You'll feel so confident about it. Once you make a list and once you start collating the data and information around it, then the next stage, start preparing your opinion on these issues. Make opinion. I will in my next video tell you as to how do you make opinion, but start doing it. That's going to give you loads of confidence to prepare for the last bastion called interview. And of course, writing assessment test. The second challenge or the second way of preparation is to look inward, focus on your self-awareness. Try and know as to who you are, what do you want to do in life, what are your strengths and weaknesses, your dreams in life, your values, and what exactly is that you want to do in life, and try and possibly revolve around it. Ask yourself certain very powerful questions which are relevant and pertinent, and go beyond the whole idea of money and materialism, and be very, very clear about what makes you very happy in life. It's that self-awareness, self-discovery process. Start talking to people who matter the most to you. I can tell you it's a very difficult aspect, but once you start looking inward, you'll get a lot of clarity, and interview will reflect your sense of clarity. The third and a very important phenomenon is make a one-page resume. Don't go beyond it unless you have 4 to 5 years of work experience. Don't go beyond one-page resume, I can tell you. Make a rough draft of your resume and show it to me. I will definitely make changes accordingly, and I can tell you as to how your resume can be a very good instrument in terms of selling your candidature. It really works wonders. Fourth, once you've done 1, 2, 3, make sure that you focus on your physicality, your emotional quotient, your spiritual quotient, and of course, the way you look at yourself. You need to really go for proper sleep pattern. Good sleep will really help you feel better. Liquid diets will really help you feel lighter. And of course, streamlined, disciplined eating pattern with solid sleep and liquid diets and positive thinking. Talking to people who matter the most, who are positive, reading very powerful and very inspiring content and watching it, it can really help you multiply your chances. Once you start taking these changes, I can tell you, next stage is going to be very easy, and I'll definitely keep you posted with the next stage, but start taking that lead. And if you really have any doubt related to this, get back to me. You can WhatsApp me on 9828117755 or email me or on vinaymodi.pt@gmail.com, or you can actually write in comment section. But make sure you start the journey. I'm going to be with you for sure, helping you reach where you want to and share all my experience of last 20 years. Thank you.